your gateway to digital transformation. We are an independent, vendor-neutral ISO IEC 1024 accredited certification body committed to helping individuals and organizations stay future-ready in a rapidly evolving world. GSDC is accredited by the Accreditation Board for International Certification Bodies, ABICB. For 10 years, we've certified more than 100,000 professionals across Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, with our offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore. Our programs are recognized by leading publications and podcasts, including Forbes, Tech Target, People Managing People. We offer 100-plus globally accredited certifications across emerging and in-demand domains like generative AI and emerging technologies, HR and learning and development, project management and agile Scrum, ISO and quality management, information security. Each GSDC certification is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100-plus global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by 500-plus multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100-plus authorized training partners and 50-plus universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry-level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, hands-on workshops, SME panels, and global summits. Join a vibrant community of 25,000-plus members and be part of our global events. Check our reviews on Trustpilot. We're trusted worldwide for quality, support, and impact. Whether you're aiming higher or building tomorrow's talent, GSDC is your partner in purposeful growth and impactful leadership. Visit our website to explore our offerings. GSDC, share the best practices and learn from the best practices. Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to digital transformation. We are an independent, vendor-neutral ISO IEC 1024 accredited certification body committed to helping individuals and organizations stay future-ready in a rapidly evolving world. GSDC is accredited by the Accreditation Board for International Certification Bodies, ABICB. For 10 years, we've certified more than 100,000 professionals across Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, with our offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore. Our programs are recognized by leading publications and podcasts, including Forbes, Tech Target, People Managing People. We offer 100-plus globally accredited certifications across emerging and in-demand domains like generative AI and emerging technologies, HR and learning and development, project management and agile Scrum, ISO and quality management, information security. Each GSDC certification is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100-plus global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by 500-plus multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100-plus authorized training partners and 50-plus universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry-level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, workshops, SME panels, and global summits. Quality, purposeful growth, and impactful leadership. Visit the website to explore our offerings. GSDC, share the best practices and best practices. Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to digital transformation. Is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100-plus global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100-plus authorized training partners and 50-plus universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry-level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, hands-on workshops, SME panels, and global summits. Join a vibrant community of 25,000-plus members and be part of our global events. Check our reviews on Trustpilot. We're trusted worldwide for quality, support, and impact. Whether you're aiming higher or building tomorrow's talent, GSDC is your partner in purposeful growth and impactful leadership. Visit our website to explore our offerings. GSDC. Share the best practices and learn from the best practices.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening for joining. I'll be starting is a lunch. I apologize everyone. I was facing some internet issue. I'll be sharing. So I'll be keeping my camera off for now because due to the low bandwidth. I hope that's okay with you all. So I would love to welcome you all to Global Skill Development Council's Certified Learning GSDC AI in Action 2026. Predict, protect, and perform across industry, where you'll be learning how to apply productive, secure, and high-performance AI at scale. So we do have this incredible panel of speakers aligned for this entire series, which is scheduled from 5th January to 31st January 2026, with the time slot that is 7:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Singapore, 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join our all upcoming sessions as well. I'll share the registration along with the WhatsApp group link shortly in the chat box. So today's speaker Dylan, he got some emergency and hence he won't be able to give the session today. Hence we going to reschedule his session, and for that we have arranged a session for all of you with one of our subject matter experts. So I'll be introducing today's speaker shortly in my next slides. So before we could start with the session, would love to quickly introduce our hosting organization. Those who have joined us for the first time, GSDC, we known as Global Skill Development Council. We're a globally recognized certification body. We do have 100 plus authorized training partner with us. Would love to thank you those who have joined us through our training partner channel. In case if you are looking for any training program for yourself, feel free to reach out to our training partner. You will find the contact details shortly in the chat box. And also I'm very proud to inform you all that we're accredited by ABICB and supported by World Press Hub, which is our official media partner who covers all our events and press releases. Also, we do have 100 plus certification portfolio with us, and we have certified more than 250,000 professionals worldwide. We have 500 plus subject matter experts with us. They work with us closely to design our exams, programs, and all the deliverables. And also, we are associated with 1,000 plus multinational corporates and 500 Fortune companies and 50 plus universities across the world. And I would love to quickly introduce you all to GSDC AI Studio. This is a platform where we are providing 100 plus live session, which is led by global experts monthly basis, where you will be getting 4 daily session, which is 45 minutes of impactful sessions, live sessions, and you'll be getting hands-on learning. So this is a platform where can you directly learn from the AI leaders around the world, and also this is real-time practice where you can apply all the concept immediately that you have learned in that particular session. And in case if you have any question or doubts, that will be resolved instantly. So this training is aligned with the industry standards for job ready skills, and how you can access to GSTC AI Studio in easy 3 steps. You can start your learning right away for 14 days completely free, where you'll be getting 80 plus live session in that particular month and full access to GSTC AI Studio. Next step that you can opt out for GSTC lifelong membership with $109, where you'll be getting lifetime access, 80 plus live session each month, full access to GSTC AI Studio, free GSTC membership, and you'll be getting free access to all our physical events that happens, and LinkedIn profile improver. The last step that you can opt out for is GSTC certification plus lifetime membership with $100, which is a very limited time offer. So where you will be getting GSTC certification access for all benefits of lifetime membership, personalized coaching, capstone project plus AI tool, GSTC Copilot, and assessment tool. You can reach out to a learning advisor to get more information or any help that you want regarding the GSTC AI Studio. I'll share the contact details shortly in the chat box. So our current certification portfolio holds certification on L&D HR, Gen AI, agentic AI, emerging technologies, ISO, which includes auditor and implementer, project management and PMO, agile DevOps, SRE, cybersecurity, digital transformation, and so on. So this certification specifically designed for all the professionals worldwide who wants to upskill themselves or who are looking to stay industry relevant, right? So you can reach out to a learning advisor, or you can check our website, which is www.gstcouncil.org, to get more information regarding all this certification, and also you can check other offerings that GSTC has for all of you. So what all benefits you will be getting with this? You'll become GSTC's member for a lifelong. With that, you'll be getting certificate upgrade. You'll be having free access to all our events, workshop, boot camps, and guess what? You'll be having free access to all our exclusive learning program that we have. Along with that, you'll be getting implementation resources, speaker invites, and newsletter. Isn't it amazing? Feel free to sign up yourself for this certification program, and you can reach out to a learning advisor if you need any help or more information regarding this. So let's welcome our today's speaker, Akshat Modi. He's a subject matter expert and AI consultant at GSDC with over 3 years of experience in artificial intelligence and machine learning. He has trained professionals globally across leading organizations, including Capgemini, FIS, Global TCS, UST, AXA Bank, and Accenture. His expertise spans generative AI technologies such as GPT, DALL-E, and GANs with real-world application in project management, cybersecurity, risk and compliance, sales, HR, and L&D. Akshat is known for simplifying complex AI concepts into practical, engaging, and learning experiences. And he'll be taking us through the topic that is deep learning unleashed, smarter financial model. Thank you so much, Akshat, for joining today's session. You can have the handover of the virtual mic now. Thank you so much. Akshat, you can unmute yourself now.
Oh, am I audible, everyone?
Yes, you're audible now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Preetham, for this wonderful introduction. So let's start without further delay. So, hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let me start with a simple question of today's session, that is deep learning, where we will see how deep learning is helping, how it is revolutionizing the finance fields, how it is making the finance decision transforming, and how it is transforming the rigid rule-based systems into adaptive learning. So let me start with a very simple question. How many of you have used credit cards? I want this session to be very interactive. I would want to interact with you guys. I want to know your thoughts on what I'm speaking. I want to share my knowledge with you. So please be very active in the chat box. Please let me know all of the answers, all of the questions. If you have any queries, you can put all of your questions in the chat box. So my first question to you guys is, how many of you have used a credit card or a net banking? Almost everyone, right? So every time we do a transaction, data is created. Not just small data, huge amounts of data. So banks, finance companies, fintech apps, and stock markets, they generate millions of data points every second. So the big challenge today in 2026 is not collecting the data. The real challenge is understanding the data and making the smart decision from it. That is where the deep learning comes into the picture. So today's session is Deep Learning Unleashed, Smart and Financial Models. This means that we will talk how modern AI systems, how Gen AI, they are making financial models more intelligent, more accurate, and faster than ever. Earlier, financial decisions were based on fixed rules. For example, if salary is above X, then the loan is approved. If the transaction amount is very high, then tag the transaction as fraud. The world is no longer that simple. All customers behave differently. All markets they change suddenly. The fraudsters they are becoming smarter every day. So finance models need to learn, adapt and improve automatically. So deep learning does that exactly that. In this session we will not go deep into mathematics. We will not write complex code. We will focus on simple understanding. I will explain everything using real life finance examples like loans, fraud detection, forecasting and trading. By the end of this session, you guys should be clearly able to understand what deep learning is, why finance is using it so heavily, how it makes financial models smarter, and what challenges come with it. So think of this session as a guided tour into how modern finance thinks and learns using AI. So let's start. Now let us understand why this topic is very important today. First, let's talk about data. Earlier banks had limited data. The customer name, the salary, the account balance and the loan history. Today, they have much more, like the transaction behavior, the spending patterns, the usage, the online payments, the market data, the social and digital signals, right? This means finance has more data than ever before. Second, the financial world has become very complex. Markets go up and down very quickly. This is known as market volatility. A single news, it can crash or boost the stock prices. Similarly, the customer behavior, it changes overnight. For example, many people suddenly stopped earning during COVID, right? The EMI defaults increased, the traditional risk model fails because they were trained on old patterns. Third, the traditional limitations. Traditional models, they follow fixed rules, they assume the patterns, they cannot handle all situations so easily. So there are certain limits of the traditional models. Let us study a very simple example. Imagine a fraud rule that says that if a transaction is above $50,000, mark it as fraud. Now what happens in this case? The genuine customers, they get blocked. Fraudsters, they make smaller transactions and escape. So rules fail in this. This is why finance needs model that can learn from behavior, not just rules. Deep learning models, they learn from patterns from large data. They detect the hidden relationships. They adapt when the behavior changes. That's why banks use deep learning for fraud detection. The fintech companies, they are using it for credit scoring. The investment firms, they are using it for forecasting. So this is the main reason: the data explosion, the market volatility, the traditional limits, and the advantage of AI. Why this topic is important. Next, to really understand deep learning, let's take a look at how financial models evolved over time. The earlier stage was the rule-based systems. Everything was based on if-else rules. If income is greater than 50,000 rupees or dollars, approve the loan. If age is less than 21, reject the loan. If transaction is international, mark it as flawed. If else, if this will happen, then this will happen. So these systems were easy to understand and easy to explain. They were also rigid, very limited, and easy to break. Fraudster quickly learned the rules and found a way around them. Next came statistical models like regression models. So how these models used to work? They used historical data. They found the mathematical relationships. They were better than rules. For example, predicting the default probability using income and age. But these models assume that data behaves more normally and relationships are very simple and linear. In real finance, this is rarely true. Then came machine learning. Machine learning learned from the data, it improves the prediction rate, it handles more variables. For example, loan approval using 20 or 30 features, fraud detection using transaction patterns. But still, humans had to decide which features to use, and the model struggled with very complex data. Finally, we reached the stage of deep learning. What deep learning did, it automatically founded the important features, it learned complex patterns and improved continuously on its own. For example, it learned the customer behavior without manual rules, detected the fraud patterns human cannot see, forecasting the markets with thousands of signals. So the evolution is very clear. Rule-based systems, then the statistical model, then machine learning. Now we are in an era of deep learning. Each step made financial models faster, smarter, and more adaptive. This is why deep learning is now at the center of modern finance. Now let's clearly understand what deep learning actually is in very simple words. So deep learning is a type of machine learning, and machine learning itself is a part of artificial intelligence. So, but instead of getting confused with definition, let me explain this using a human example. Think of about a child, how a child recognizes money notes. At first, the child does not know the difference between a $100 note and a $10 note. Over time, by seeing many notes again and again, the child learns the color, the size, the number, the designs. No one gives the child fixed rules. The learning happens automatically through experience. Deep learning works in a similar way. The deep learning system, they see a lot of data, they find pattern on its own, they improve with more data. It uses something called neural networks, which is inspired by how the human brain works. In finance, deep learning does not look at just one thing like salary or age. It looks at hundreds or thousands of signals together. For example, in loan approval, it will look at salary, name, age, your degree, your spending behavior, the transaction frequency, the EMI history, the digital payment patterns. So instead of telling the model what is important, deep learning figures it out by itself. Another simple example, imagine you want to predict whether a customer will default on a loan. So the traditional approach is human selects the rules, model follows those rules. But what is the deep learning approach? The model studies thousands of past customers' data. It learns what patterns led to default and it applies that learning to new customers. So in simple terms, deep learning is a system that learns by itself from large amounts of data without needing fixed rules. That is why deep learning is so powerful in finance, where patterns are complex and always changing. Now, many people ask me this question: if machine learning already exists, why do we need deep learning? So, let's understand this with a simple comparison. In machine learning, the humans play a big role. Suppose we want to predict whether a loan will be repaid or not. So, a data scientist, he will decide the use of salary, the credit score, the age, the employment type. Then, these selected features are then given to a machine learning model. So, machine learning depends heavily on human decision making. If the human misses an important feature, the model's performance will suffer. Machine learning works well when the data is very structured, the patterns are simple, and the relationships are mostly stable. Whereas deep learning, it works very differently. Instead of humans deciding what is important, the model decides itself. It may find that late night spending matters, or sudden drop in the income, or change in transaction. So humans may never think of these patterns. Whereas deep learning, it handles very large data, it works well with complex relationships, it can learn from raw data as well. Think of it as this way, that machine learning is like, I will teach you what to look for. Whereas deep learning is, I will learn what matters by myself. That's why companies, they are using machine learning for simple problems and deep learning for complex, high impact problems. In finance, where behavior changes quickly, the deep learning gives a big advantage. Now, if you remember, I told you about neural networks. So let us understand how a neural network works without any technical complexity or jargons. So neural networks has mainly three parts: the input layer, the hidden layer, and the output layer. So the input layer, this is where the data enters. For example, in fraud detection, the transaction amount, the time of transaction, the location, the device type, the past behavior, each of this is an input. Then the hidden layer. So this is where all of the real thinking happens. Hidden layers, they combine the inputs, they find the patterns, they detect the relationships. For example, small amounts plus many transactions is suspicious. New location plus odd time is risk signal. So each hidden layer learns something new. Then we have the output layer. So this gives the final decision: fraud or not fraud, loan approved or rejected, high risk or low risk. So what is the learning process in this? The model, it makes a prediction, if checks if it is correct or not, it adjusts itself if it is wrong, and it repeats this many times. So this process is called as learning. With more data, the errors reduces and the accuracy improves. So a neural network is not just programmed, it is trained just like how a human learns from mistake. This is why deep learning gets better over and over time. In finance, what this means? Better decisions, faster responses, and smarter decisions. Now that we understood what is deep learning and how neural network thinks, let's talk about the different types of deep learning models used in finance. So this is very important. Why? Because one model does not fit all problems. Just like in real life, you would not use a hammer for every job, right? So deep learning also uses different models for different tasks. So in finance, the top three commonly used models are: the first is ANN, that is artificial neural networks. Second is CNN, that is the convolutional neural networks. And third are the RNNs, especially LSTM, that is the recurrent neural networks. So let us understand this using very simple examples. So each type of data needs a different way. So the first one, the ANN, they are good for general decision making. The CNN, they are good for finding patterns. And RNN, it is good at understanding uh, revenue and time-based sequences. For example, if a loan approval does not depend on one value but many values together, we will use ANN. The stock charts and the document images, they have visual patterns, so we will use CNNs. The daily transactions or the monthly revenue are time-based, so we will use RNNs. The finance companies do not choose these models randomly. They choose them based on type of data, the nature of the problem, need for accuracy and speed. Another important point is that these models often work together. A fraud system, it might use ANN for risk scoring and RNN for transaction sequence analysis. So when we talk about deep learning in finance, we are not talking about one model. We are talking about a toolbox of intelligence models, each designed to solve a specific type of financial problem. Now let's see them one by one. So let's start with the most basic one, the most commonly used one, that is the artificial neural network, that are the ANNs. So ANNs, they work well when you have a structured data like tables and numbers, which is very common in finance. Think of a financial data like the customer age, the monthly income, the credit score, and the EMI payment history. So ANN can take all of these inputs together and make a decision. For example, in credit scoring. Earlier, the banks used simple rules. If the credit score is above a number, approve the loan. If salary is below a number, reject the loan. ANN does something much smarter. It looks at how income and spending work together, how payment delays affect the risk, how customer behavior changes over time. It does not look at one factor in isolation. It looks at all factors together. ANNs are also used in the customer segmentation, the pricing models, the default predictions. Why ANNs work so well in finance? Because finance data is mostly numerical. Also, the decisions depend on many variables. So, ANNs become the decision making brain of financial systems. You can think of ANN as a smart decision engine that learns from thousands of past cases and applies that learning to the new ones. That is why ANN is often the first deep learning model used when companies move beyond traditional machine learning. Now, let's talk about the CNNs. So, mostly people think CNN is only for images like face recognition or medical scans. But CNN is also very useful in finance. CNN is excellent at detecting patterns and structures. In finance, patterns appear in many forms like stock prices or candlestick patterns or scan documents or KYC images. For example, in the stock market analysis, a stock price chart is actually an image with patterns like the trends, the peaks, the repeated shapes. CNN can learn these patterns by analyzing thousands of charts. So instead of a human saying like this looks like head and shoulders pattern, CNN will automatically learn that which shapes indicate the upward movement, which shapes indicate the downward movement, which pattern signal risks. Another powerful use of CNN in finance is document processing. So banks deal with the social ID numbers, the licenses, the checks, the loan application forms. How CNN can help? It can read the scanned documents, it can detect the forged documents, it can be also used in the signature verification, in the invoice processing, in the check fraud detection. Now, why it is very powerful? It finds the patterns the human may miss. It works well with the visual data and it also reduces the manual effort. So in finance, CNN acts like a visual intelligence systems that sees and understands patterns in the financial data. This makes finance processes faster, safer, and more accurate. Now, let's move on to one of the most important deep learning models, especially when time is involved, the recurrent neural networks and their advanced version, that is the LSTM. So, to understand these topics, the RNNs and the LSTM, let's start with a simple idea. In finance, order matters, right? So, a single transaction does not tell much, but a series of transactions over time tells a story. If a person spends $500 today, that is normal. But if he is spending $500 10 times in 1 hour, that is suspicious. This is exactly when RNNs and LSTMs are used. Now, what makes them different from the CNNs or the ANNs? So, unlike other models, RNNs, they remember the previous data. They have a context history. Also, it uses past information to understand the present. And it works very well with sequences as well. So, you can think of RNN as a person reading a story. So, to understand the current page, you must remember the previous pages. In finance, examples of sequences are the monthly revenue, the transaction history, the EMI payments, the daily stock prices. The RNN looks at data step by step, not all at once. Basic RNN has a problem. It forgets the information if the sequence is very long. That's where LSTM, that is long short term memory, comes in. What LSTM does, it remembers the important patterns for a long time. It forgets the irrelevant information and it also handles long financial histories better. For example, in loan default prediction, a missed EMI last week is important. A missed EMI 2 years ago may not be matter. So LSTM learns what to remember and what to forget. So there are multiple examples of finance where LSTM and RNNs are used. That is the stock price forecasting, the fraud detection, the cash flow forecasting, the risk trend analysis. In cash flow, it uses the past income and expenses. It predicts the future cash needs and helps the businesses plan better. So in short, you can think of RNNs and LSTMs as financial models that understand behavior over time, not just the single events. That is why RNN and LSTM are extremely powerful in finance, where history always matters. Now, all of this, the RNNs, ANNs, machine learning, deep learning. So let's take a look at our first real measurable use case, that is the credit risk modeling. So what is credit risk? It means that the risk that a customer may not repay a loan. So this is one of the most important problems in finance. Every bank, NBFC, and fintech companies deals with this every single day. Earlier, credit risk decisions were very simple and rule based. Like if salary is above certain amount, approve the loan. If credit score is low, reject the loan. Job is permanent, approve the loan. So these rules worked when customers' behavior was very simple. Now customer behaviors is very complex. Two people with the same salary and same credit score can behave very differently. One may pay EMI on time, another may delay payments or default. This is where the deep learning changes everything. A deep learning credit risk model does not look at the just one or two factors like the age or the salary or the job. It looks at hundreds of signals like income and the spending pattern, how regular the customer uses digital payments, the transaction behavior, the changes in the account balance, the past EMI history, the lifestyle spending patterns. So instead of humans deciding what matters, deep learning model learns from the past customers. It learns which behavior pattern usually lead to default. It learns which customer recover after short delays. It learns early warning signs of risk. This leads to more accurate loan approvals, fewer bad loans, and fairer decisions. Deep learning also helps in financial inclusion. People with limited credit history may still get loans if their behavior looks responsible. So, in simple terms, deep learning helps the finance move from guessing risk to understanding the behavior. That is why credit risk modeling is one of the biggest success stories of deep learning. After 2015, when banks started using deep learning at a large scale, there was a 92% prediction accuracy, only 35% fewer false positives, and 40% time consumed. Now, let's talk about another critical problem in finance, that is the fraud detection. So frauds, they are increasing every year. Fraudsters, they are becoming smarter and more creative. At the same time, the customers, they expect fast and smooth transactions. Earlier, fraud detection systems worked on fixed rules. For example, block the transactions over 1 lakh or block the international transactions, block the transaction at odd hours. The problem with these rules are the genuine customers, they might get blocked. The fraudsters learn the rules and bypass them. So deep learning solves this problem by understanding the behavior instead of the rules. A deep learning fraud system studies how a customer normally spends, where the customer usually transacts, what time the customer uses the card or the app, how frequently the transaction is happening. So when something unusual happens, the model detects it immediately. For example, a customer who usually shops in Dubai suddenly transacts in Malaysia, or many small transactions happening in a short time, or device or location suddenly changes. The model does not ask, is the amount high? It asks, is the behavior unusual for the customer? So this reduces the false alerts, the customer frustration, the manual reviews. Also, it can help to learn from new fraud cases, adopt to the new fraud patterns, and work in real time. This is why today banks, the payment applications, the credit card companies, they all use different deep learning for fraud detection. Now let's move to one of the more advanced use case is the algorithmic trading. Algorithmic trading means using customers and AI to analyze the markets, to predict the price movements, and to execute trades automatically. Financial markets, they generate huge amounts of data. The prices, the volumes, the order books, the news, the market sentiment. So no human he can process all this data in real time, but deep learning can. Deep learning models, they analyze the historical price data, the trading volumes, the market trends, the sudden market movements. For example, they predict the short-term price changes, they identify the trends before human notices them, and they react within milliseconds. Deep learning is especially useful in high-frequency trading, volatility prediction, and risk management. Another powerful use is the sentiment analysis. Deep learning models, they can analyze the news articles, they can read the financial reports, and they track market sentiment. If the sentiment turns negative, models can adjust the trading strategies automatically. However, it is very important to note that the deep learning does not guarantee profits. Markets are very unpredictable and risk management is very critical. That is why deep learning in trading is always combined with the human oversight, the risk limits, and the regulatory controls. So, in simple words, deep learning helps the traders to see patterns faster, react quicker, and manage the risk better. Now, let us clearly compare the traditional financial models with the deep learning models. So, this comparison will help you understand why many organizations are moving toward deep learning today. Traditional models, they are based on fixed rules or simple mathematical formulas. Humans decide what variables to use and how they should influence the decision. For example, a traditional loan model may use income, age, and credit score with predefined importance given to each factor. These models, they are easy to understand and explain. However, they have many limitations. So, they assume that the relationships between variables are very simple and very stable. And these models, the traditional models, as I told you, the if-else models, they often struggle when the number of variables increases. Whereas the deep learning models, they work very differently. So instead of humans deciding the rule, the model learns directly from the data sets. The model learns directly from the data that is present. It analyzes thousands or even millions of past examples and it discovers the patterns on its own. It understands the complex and the non-linear relationships that traditional models cannot capture. Another difference is adaptability. Traditional models, they need manual updates when conditions change. But the deep learning models, they improve on their own and automatically as the new data is added. However, deep learning models are hard to explain and require more data and computing power. This is why they must be carefully used in carefully regulated industries like finance. In short, in summary to this slide, the deep learning models, the traditional models, they offer simplicity and transparency, while the deep learning models, they offer accuracy and adaptability. The best systems often combine both approaches for balance and the reliable decision making. Now, why these deep learning models they perform better? The main reason is the ability to handle the complexity at a scale. Finance problems they are rarely simple. A single financial decision may depend on hundreds of variables interacting with each other. Whereas the traditional models they struggle with this because they assume the linear relationships. Deep learning models they are designed to learn complex non-linear relationships naturally. Another reason is the data volume. Financial systems they generate massive amounts of data every day, whereas the deep learning models they perform better as the data increases. In fact, more data usually makes these models more accurate. So always remember this. The more data you provide to a deep learning model, the more accurate it will become. So this is especially very useful in the areas like fraud detection and transaction monitoring. It also works well with different types of data, diverse data. Finance does not only deal with numbers, it also deals with text, images, sequences. Let's say deep learning can analyze the transaction history, it can read the financial documents, it can detect the patterns in stock charts, all within the same system. Another advantage is speed. Once trained, these models can make decisions very quickly. This is very critical in real time systems like payment and fraud detection and algorithmic trading. So, this makes deep learning models suitable for environments where the behavior and the data is changing frequently. However, better performances does not mean zero risk. Deep learning models, they must be monitored as well carefully to avoid the bias. errors, and unexpected behaviors. So, as I told you that there are many benefits of this deep learning in finance, it is very important to understand that it also comes with challenges and risks. So, deep learning is very powerful, but it is not magic. It doesn't, if used without care, it can create serious problems, especially in the sensitive industries like finance, because in finance, you are giving your customer data to the deep learning models. First, one major challenge is the black box nature of deep learning. This means that it is often very difficult to explain how a model reached a particular decision. For example, if a customer asks why their loan was rejected, a deep learning model cannot always give a clear, human readable explanation. This can be a problem for trust, customer satisfaction, and regulatory compliance. Another big risk is the bias in data. Deep learning models from historical data. They learn from the historical data. So, if past data contains bias, the model may learn and repeat that bias. For example, if a certain customer groups were unfairly rejected in the past and the model is trained on that same dataset, the model may continue to reject similar profiles. This can lead to unfair and discriminatory outcomes. Data quality is another challenge. Deep learning models they need large amounts of clean and accurate data. So if the data is incomplete, outdated or incorrect, the model's predictions will also be poor. In finance, bad predictions can lead to financial losses or reputational damage. There is also the challenge of high cost. Deep learning models they require powerful computers, large storage, CPUs, GPUs, and skilled professionals. So not every organization is ready for this investment. Finally, there's the regulatory and the compliance risk that financial models they must follow strict rules. Any AI model must be auditable, fair, and secure. So while deep learning is very powerful, it must be used carefully, responsibly, and with strong controls in place. Now, because finance detail deals with people's money, trust is extremely important, right? So, sorry. This is why making deep learning models trustworthy is just as important as making them accurate. One key approach is the explainable AI, often called as XAI. So, explainable AI helps humans understand why a model made a certain decision. For example, instead of saying loan rejected, the system can explain that high EMI burden and irregular income was the major reasons. This improves the transparency and builds trust with the customers and the regulators. Another important practice is the human in the loop. This means that humans are often involved in critical decisions. For example, deep learning model may flag a transaction as suspicious, but a analyst makes the final decision. So this helps to reduce the risk of wrong or unfair outcomes. Then another is bias monitoring. So organizations they must regularly check the models for unfair behavior. If bias is detected, models must be retrained with better data. This ensures that decisions remain fair and ethical. So model monitoring is another key step. So deep learning models they can degrade over time as behavioral changes. So continuously monitoring and regularly auditing the deep learning models to detect the performance allows and timely updates. Security is also crucial. Financial models they may be protected from cyber attacks and data leaks. Strong access controls and data encryption are required. Finally, the documentation and audits are necessary. Every model should have a clear documentation explaining how it was built, trained, and tested. In simple words, trustworthy deep learning means combining the technology with ethics, transparency, and human judgment. Now, let us answer to a very practical and important question. When should finance actually use deep learning? So, this is very important because deep learning is powerful, but it is not the right solution for every problem. The first situation where deep learning makes sense is when there is a very large amount of data. Financial organizations they generate huge volumes of data every day, right? So, such as the transaction records, the customer behavior data, the market prices, the operational logs. When the data is small, the simple model, they work well. But when data becomes large and complex, traditional models struggle. Deep learning improves as data increases, which makes it suitable for large scale financial systems. The second situation is when the problem involves complex patterns. Many financial problems are not simple. For example, fraud is rarely caused by a single action. So it usually is a combination of timing, location, transaction sequence, spending habits. It can be anything. Deep learning models learn from these complex hidden relationships that humans and traditional models cannot easily identify. It is also valuable when high accuracy directly impacts the business outcomes. Even a small improvement in the prediction accuracy can result in significant savings or profits. For example, reducing false fraud alerts improves the customer experience, while better credit risk predictions reduces loan defaults. So, in summary, finance should use deep learning when the problem is complex, data rich, dynamic, and high impacting. The goal is not to use deep learning everywhere, but to use it where it truly adds the value. So, as we came to the end of this session, let us take a moment to reflect on the key messages. The first key takeaway the first key takeaway is that deep learning is changing how financial decisions are made. Traditional finance relied heavily on fixed rules and simple statistical models. While these approaches were useful in past, they struggle in today's complex and fast changing environment. Second key takeaway from today's session is that deep learning is especially powerful in real world finance use cases. We saw how it improves the credit risk modeling by understanding customer behavior. We also discussed its role in financial forecasting, algorithmic trading, where speed, scale, and adaptability are very crucial. Third key takeaway is that deep learning must be used very responsibly. That is a responsible deployment. Accuracy alone is not enough in finance. The models, they must be very fair, they must not be biased, they must be transparent. This is why techniques such as explainable AI, human oversight, and continuous monitoring are essential. Another important message is that deep learning is not meant to replace the humans. Instead, it is designed to support human decision making. Machines are good at processing large amounts of data quickly. Humans are good at judgment, ethics, and accountability. The best financial systems combine the both. Finally, the future of intelligence lies in the intelligent collaboration between AI and people. That is the human AI partnership. Organizations that succeed will not be those that blindly adopt AI, but those that understand where and how to use it wisely. If you remember just one thing from today, remember this: the smartest financial models are not just powerful, but they are also trustworthy, ethical, and aligned with the human values. So, this was all about today's topic, deep learning unleashed. So, I have created a challenge for you guys. Just give me a minute, I'll give you the challenge in the chat box as well. Also, feel free to ask any questions regarding the session, whatever questions you may have. You can put your questions in the chat box. I'll be ready to answer all of your questions as well.
Dear participants, meanwhile, you can drop your questions in the chat box as we still have 10 to 15 minutes to cover the question. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat box right away. So the Akshat will be giving you a tourist challenge in the chat box shortly. Akshat, we have got question from Umesh. Do you want me to read it for you?
No, it's all right. I'm just pasting the challenge in the chat box and then I'll answer the questions.
Sure, sure. Thanks.
Okay, so we have a question from Umesh. Can we use all three deep learning models ANNs, CNNs, and RNNs? And if yes, was there any conflict during analyzing the data and predictions? Okay, so yeah, you can absolutely use the ANN, CNNs, and RNN together in single complex use case. You can often create hybrid models like the CNN RNN or CNN LSTM, where each component handles the specific data types like CNN for spatial, RNN for temporal. So how they work together? Like CNN, it extracts the features from grid-like data from a video or image. Then RNN, it processes the data or the features extracted by the CNN to understand the temporal relationships. And then the ANNs, it takes the combined output and makes the final predictions for tasks like sentiment analysis or the action recognition. Okay, another question is, please share few commonly used deep learning tools in current industry. Yeah. So as of now, there are multiple deep learning tools in real engineering. So most commonly tools are the open source frameworks TensorFlow and PyTorch. So these two frameworks, they dominate the deep learning landscape with strong support from major tech companies and extensive communities. So I'll write those down. This name, TensorFlow and PyTorch. Any other questions, guys? Please feel free to ask your questions. Hmm.
Meanwhile, we get another question. I would like to tell all the participants that I do have some announcement for all of you. So please stay connected till the end, and still have a time for Q&A, so you can drop your questions right away.
I've
Oh, here
also
we
added the challenge in the chat box. It is a mini challenge, so it will help the participants to explore and experience how Gen AI it reasons like modern financial fraud. So I have pasted a prompt. You have to simply copy the prompt and paste it into ChatGPT or Claude, and you will see the AI output, the AI explanations, and everything. So please feel free to try the challenge as well.
Thank you so much, Akshat, for sharing the challenge. Dear participants, you all know, right, what you have to do. You have to complete the challenge, and the next step that you have to post it over the social media and tag GSDC and Akshat. So that's how we'll able to track your challenge, and the one we find most creative will be getting back to them with a surprise gift, right? So please, I encourage you all to complete all the challenges. This is hands-on learning that you will be getting, right? So please complete all the challenges and tag GSTC. Thank you so much. Do you have any further questions in the chat box? We'll wait few minutes and then we can proceed. There's question from Mani, Akshat. Can you see it?
I'm just checking that out. Can we have any tool for seniors? Do you mean seniors like the old age people? Yeah. So there are several apps and tools for smartphones that helps the seniors to avoid fraud by blocking the spam text or messages. So the popular option for that, basically for blocking the scam calls or text, is the Truecaller for call blocking and the messages blocking. Then there is also a microcheck for AI deepfake detection. So in India, it is the most popular tool is the Truecaller or the Haya. Also, if you want, there is a Senior Shield.ai application. It uses AI to review the message or the email. So I'll write the name in the chat box. And it is available on the Apple App Store as well. I have pasted the name of the chat tool in the chat box as. Any questions? Anyone else? Any questions? Yeah, this is I have pasted the name of the tool, seniorshield.ai. This is available. You can download this from the App Store as well. Also, there is a tool called Nomorobo as well. Nomorobo. Nomoro. Any questions? Anyone else? Okay, I guess that is it, Preetham, from my side. Thank you so much, everyone, for this wonderful session, for giving me this opportunity, Preetham. Thanks a lot. I hope this was a wonderful learning for all of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Indeed, it was a wonderful session, Akshay. Thank you so much. So, dear participants, that in case if you have any further questions or any information that you want regarding this topic, feel free to reach out to Akshay. I've shared his LinkedIn profile link on the chat box, so feel free to reach out to him. And also, as I said that I have some announcement, great announcement. So this is regarding the today's certification. We had a session on, so you can opt out for any of the certification, which is certified AI tool expert, certified generative AI professional, AI foundation, agentic AI professional, and foundation. You can use this promo code, which is AI20, to get an amazing discount, which is 20% off. As you all know, these certifications are globally recognized ones. You'll get the learning resources where we are providing a lot of case studies to work on, e-learnings and book of knowledge. These certifications gives you lifelong learning with the learning flexibility, and you'll be getting chance to connect with our training partner channel, and you'll be having a lot of opportunity to work on capstone project, that is something real-time AI simulation practice. So do grab this opportunity and do sign up yourself for the certification program. You'll find the offer details, link and the promo code in the chat box. So also this is regarding the utility tool. This tool will help you to improve your LinkedIn profile score, your AI skills score, and also it will help you to build your personal brand. You can use this AUG 100 as a code to get 100% off, which means completely free, and this is only for our webinar attendees. So grab this opportunity, check this tool out. This tool is really amazing, and we got a lot of amazing feedback from our attendees earlier. So check this out. You'll find the utility link in the chat box. And also I would love to make this announcement that we are running this another webinar series on from policy to practice 2026, designing ISO driven governance that works in the real world. This is happening from 5th January till 31st January 2026 with a time slot 8:30 a.m. Central, 10:30 p.m. Singapore, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have incredible experts aligned for this series, so do join us. You'll find the registration link and WhatsApp link in the chat box. And this is another webinar series we are actually conducting right now on learning and development. This is also scheduled from 5th January till 31st January 2026 with a time slot that is 9:30 a.m. Central, 11:30 p.m. Singapore, 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time and 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have incredible panel of L&D experts aligned for this series. So please do join us for all this series, upcoming series as well. You will find the registration link in the chat box shortly for this as well. And we do have these three winners who have referred maximum people to this specific webinar series. Let's congratulate to them. However, we'll be announcing all the final winners at this end of this webinar series, so you still have a time to refer maximum people and be winner, as top three winners will be featured on the GSDC Wall of Fame, and winners will be getting rewards which is worth $400. So do grab this opportunity, do refer maximum people to our session. And in case if you want to be speaker for our upcoming events or webinars, feel free to reach out to us. You can directly write to me at Preetham at the rate gsdcouncil.org. You can share your speaker profile with us, and we'll be definitely review that, and we'll get back to you with the speaker opportunity. As you all know that we do have a global platform like Learning Capsule, webinar and podcast. We would love to connect with you all over social media. You can scan this QR, connect with us over LinkedIn, check our website for more information on the certifications that I've mentioned earlier, and also you can check other offerings that GSDC has for all of you. You can track our upcoming webinars as well, and please connect with us over the WhatsApp group as well, because there we are providing all the daily updates on webinar boot camps that we often conduct for all of you. And please do not forget to share your valuable feedback on Trustpilot as well as on reviews.io. You'll find the link in the chat box. And thank you so much for joining today's session. I hope to see you all for the upcoming and the next session as well. Until then, take care of yourself. Thank you. Bye bye. I'll see you.